So we just got some news that came out. The Packers have freed up some more cap space. Came out here from Field Yates, who says this: the Packers and outside linebacker Preston Smith have agreed to a restructured contract that creates $2.4 million in cap space for the team in 2024. Smith's compensation for this year is now $10 million. Rob Demovsky added this: Smith was supposed to make $12.4 million this season. Looks like a straight pay cut to stay with the Packers for another year. He's coming off a solid season, but at 31 years old, he probably figures he won't get $20 million in free agency if he's released. So this is the second move the Packers have made in the past few days to free up cap space. 2 days ago, they restructured Rashawn Gary's contract, which freed up $4.781 million. Now you add this $2.4 million saved, and that means the Packers, according to Over the Cap, before this move, we're at $7.1 million of cap space available. And now after this move, they are at $9.25 million under the cap. So they already have a good amount of room to potentially make some moves in free agency in the next couple weeks. And when we look at Preston Smith, he's had a solid career here, solid time here in Green Bay, played, I think, really well this past year. And with him being 31 years old, there's no doubt he is in the later part of his career, and I feel like when you get to 30, for most NFL players, you don't know how much longer they're going to play at a top-tier level, and I think that, as Demovsky said, with him being 31 years old, maybe he realized that, it was best to take some kind of pay cut to stick around here in Green Bay, and I don't think it ever would have made sense to release Preston Smith this offseason, because if you look at his cap on overthecap.com, in 2024, he has a cap number of $16.5 million. And if you look at his dead money, if he would have been released, it would have been at nearly $14 million at $13,988,000 dead cap. So you only would have saved maybe $2.5 million by releasing Preston Smith. So I don't think that would have made much sense, considering Preston Smith is still playing at a solid level. If you look at 2025, he has a $17.5 million cap hit with a $9.88 million dead cap hit. So if they released him after this next season, they would save $7 million. That gives you a little more space if you want to move on next year, if you think he's on the decline. And then after that, 2026, $18.2 million dead cap hit with a $5.77 million dead cap hit. So if he plays, let's say 2024, the Packers think he can play another year, 2025. If they release him after that season, they'll save nearly, about $13 or so million in 2026. So that's a good ways out. But the Packers, I think, have a solid group at edge rusher with Rashawn Gary, with Lucas Van Ness, with Preston Smith. And I think that because of the Kingsley Enagbare injury, JJ Enagbare, his torn ACL near the end of last season, there is a little bit of, at least a lack of depth when it comes to the edge. And I would assume the Packers bolster that position coming into this draft. But it looks like Preston Smith will be back. The Packers continue to free up more cap space, and I assume we'll continue to see things like this come out in the coming days and weeks as the Packers prepare for free agency and the start of the new NFL league year. So if you guys want more Packers content, feel free to subscribe down below. You can also check out my podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Packers, Sideline Scoop Podcast. But that is it for this one, and I'll see you guys next time.